So good morning. Today we are going to begin with MBA International Business Environment Unit 1. So let's read it with me. Learning outcomes. After studying this unit, you should be able to relate with the international business environment, relate with globalization, identify different types of international business firms, explain the influence of environment on different types of international business firms. Introduction. One of the most important things that have driven international business for the past few decades is change. It can even be understood by one of the famous quotes by Professor Leon C. Megginson. He said that it is not the strongest or the most intelligent who will survive, but those who can best manage change. Change plays a very important role when it comes to the environment. It gets even bigger in the role when associated with the international business environment. The same can be understood with the help of an example from the switch watch industry. Example: Swiss companies' mechanical movements had proven their durability and reliability for centuries and made this industry market leader in 1970. But the reluctance to adopt quartz technology cost them dearly. Exports of Swiss mechanical watches plummeted from 40 million in 1972 to only 3 million 10 years later. Japan and Hong Kong dominated the quartz segment and disseminated the Swiss industry. Many small to medium sized watch companies in Switzerland closed their doors by the end of the 1980s. This reflects that if an organization not keeping a note of changes in the environment in which it's operating can lead to the downfall of the organization. Another example that can be discussed on the technological change in the environment that lead to the downfall of the organization is Kodak. Example: a generation ago, a Kodak movement meant something worth saving and savoring. Still, a few years ago, Kodak experienced such a downfall in sales that it was forced into bankruptcy. After being founded by George Eastman in 1888, it became so dominant in photography that by 1976, 85% of all film cameras and 90% of all films sold in the US was Kodak. For almost 100 years, Kodak was at the forefront of photography, with dozens of innovations and inventions, making this art accessible to the consumer. In the 1980s, the photography industry was beginning to shift towards the digital, with Kodak inventing the digital camera. One would think that turning to digital would be the next logical thing for Kodak. The company jumped on the digital trend bandwagon, although it was a late adopter while still selling along cameras and film. So here is the graphical representation of decline of film roll sales and total camera sales. So as it turned out, digital cameras were not the biggest fish in the pond. Smartphones took the world by storm and digital camera producers saw their sales quickly spiraling down. People went from printing pictures to storing them on digital devices or sharing them online on social media platforms. Kodak created a digital camera, invested in the technology, and even understood that photos would be shared online. When they failed wasn't realizing that online photo sharing was a new business, not just a way to expand a printing business. Therefore, it is necessary to understand the international business environment and globalization in a true sense to have an edge over competitors. Globalization. It refers to the elimination of barriers to international movements of goods, services, capital, technology, and the people that influence the integration of world economies. Going global is termed as a gradual process, starting with increased exports or global sourcing, followed by a modest international presence, growing into a multinational organization, and ultimately evolving into a global posture. Example: Airbnb started in 2008 and now has its footprints in more than 200 plus countries. It is an online community marketplace that connects people looking to rent their homes with people who are looking for accommodation. The key to Airbnb's global strategy is localization. This example reflects the impacts of globalization. In such a short period, this organization has expanded its operation in 200 plus countries. The brand has introduced a universal symbol as its logo, the bellow, which symbolizes belonging no matter where you are in the world. The basic problem that Airbnb has to solve is bridging the local global gap. On one side, one has to consider certain parts of the travel experience that must be applied in all places, like cleanliness standards. All wants freshly laundered bed sheets. On the other side, what makes Airbnb stand out from the millions of hotel rooms you can stay in is the uniqueness of the local experience. For example, translation. Translation becomes a delicate aspect. If you are traveling to China from the UK, you probably want to read home listings in English. But if Airbnb automatically translated Chinese profiles, visitors might expect that their host speaks English as well. The current solution, displaying profiles in the local language and adding an optional translate button. Factors in increased globalization, the rise in the application of technology, liberalization of cross-border trade and resource movements, development of services that support international business, growth of consumer pressures, increase in global competition, changes in political situation and government policies, expansion of cross-national cooperation. To protect its industry, every country restricts the entry and exit of not only goods and services but also the resources like workers, capital, tools, etc. However, most governments have reduced such restrictions primarily for three reasons. Their citizens want a greater variety of goods and services at lower prices. Competition spurs domestic producers to become more efficient. They hope to induce other countries to lower their barriers in turn. Increased competitive pressures can persuade companies to buy or sell abroad. Example, a firm might introduce a product into the market where competitors are already gaining sales, or seek suppliers where competitors are getting cheaper or more attractive products. Government supports such programs such as improving airport and seaport facilities to foster efficiencies for delivering goods internationally. Governments also provide an array of services to help local firms sell more in foreign markets. Regulating authorities like government and international bodies have to realize that their interests can be addressed through international cooperation, employment treaties, and agreements. This has happened largely due to gain reciprocal advantages, to attack problems jointly that one country acting alone cannot solve, to deal with areas of concerns that lie outside the territory of any nation. International business. It encompasses all commercial activities that take place to promote transfer of goods, services, resources, people, ideas, and technologies across national boundaries. However, a broader definition of international business may serve you better both personally and professionally in a world that has moved beyond simple industrial production. Exchanges can go beyond the exchange of money for physical goods to include international transfer of other resources such as people, intellectual property, example, patents, copyrights, brand trademarks, and data, and contractual assets or liabilities, example, the right to use some foreign assets, provide some future service to foreign customers, or execute a complex financial instrument. The entities involved in international business range from large multinational firms with thousands of employees doing business in many countries around the world to a small one-person company acting as an importer or exporter. This broader definition of international business also encompasses for profit border crossing transactions as well as transactions motivated by non-financial gains. Example, triple bottom line, corporate social responsibility, and political favor that affect business future. International business includes any type of business activity that crosses national borders. Though several definitions in the business literature can be found, no simple or universally accepted definition exists for the term international business. At one end of the definitional spectrum, international business is defined as an organization that buys and or sells goods and services across two or more national boundaries, even if management is located in a single country. At the other end of the spectrum, international business is equated only with those big enterprises which have operating units outside their own country. In the middle are institutional arrangements that provide for some managerial direction of economic activity taking place abroad, but stop short of controlling ownership the business carrying on the activity. Influence of international business. Because most of the countries are not as fortunate as India in terms of market size, resources, and opportunities, they must trade with others to survive. Hong Kong has historically underscored this point well, for without food and water from China proper, the British colony would not have survived alone. The countries of Europe have had a similar experience since most European nations are relatively small in size. Without foreign market, European firms would not have sufficient economies of scale to allow them to be competitive with the US firms. Nestle mentions in one of its advertisements that its own country Switzerland lacks natural resources, forcing it to depend on trade and adopt a geocentric perspective. International composition may not be a matter of choice when survival is at stake. However, only firms with previously substantial market share and international experience could expand successfully. Factors in international business operations: operating environment, physical and social features, political policies and legal practices, cultural factors, geographical influence, operations, objectives, sales expansion, resource acquisition, risk minimization. Competitive factors: competitive product strategy, company resources and experience, competitions in each market. Means, modes: importing and exporting, tourism and transportation, licensing and franchising, turnkey operations, management contracts, direction and portfolio investment. Means, functions: marketing, manufacturing and supply chain, management, accounting, finance, human resource. Overlying alternatives: choice of countries, organization and control mechanism. It starts with the objectives of the organization as mentioned in the figure above. An organization can make a move for going international because an organization is interested in sales expansion, resource acquisition, or risk minimization. Once the domestic market is getting saturated for the organization, objectives like sales expansion will come in handy for such an organization. Similarly, if an organization believes that resources are available at cheaper cost in some other country, then this could also serve as an objective for moving into the international market. Diversification leads to risk minimization, and this could be yet another objective for organizations in moving towards international markets. When an organization moves to the international market, the operating environment plays a crucial role as these factors are beyond the control of the organization. An organization has to pay attention to all factors that are a part of the operating environment as these factors influence organization operations significantly. You will be reading about the same in the next unit. Organizations will keep changing their strategies depending upon which factor is creating an impact on the operations of the organization. An organization is going to adopt various measures to enter in international arena like discussing the mode of entry. An organization can opt for any of the options mentioned in the figure like licensing, franchising, turnkey operations, importing and exporting. It depends on which mode is best going to suit the organization, taking into consideration the product or service in which the organization deals. Example: let us take an example of a cricket series taking place in England. Indian team wants fans to watch their team performing live. Their tickets on British Air and travel expenses in England are service exports for Britain and service imports for India. On an international level, for example, companies receive fees for engineering services rendered in turnkey operations. Companies also receive fees from management contracts, arrangements in which they provide personnel to perform management functions for another, such as business management of theme parks in France and Japan. Competitive factors also play a vital role in overall international business operation. Competitive factors such as the number and strength of suppliers, customers, and rival firms are all important for an organization. The influence of all these factors will be seen in the units ahead. Types of international business firms: international company, transnational company, global company, multinational company. These all are companies engaged in foreign trade. International company. International companies are importers and exporters. They have no investment outside their home country. The functioning and strategies are derived mostly from the primary market, which is the domestic home country market. They have to continuously adjust to the trading norms of the home country. Example: Spencer's Retail is an Indian chain of retail stores headquartered in Kolkata, West Bengal, which is providing a wide range of products across categories such as food, personal care, fashion, home essentials, specialty, and electrical and electronics to its consumer. Multinational company. Multinational companies have an investment in other countries but do not have coordinated product offerings in each country, more focused on adopting their products and service to each local market. MNCs have a centralized structure with the head office in the home country taking important decisions. Products are decided and developed by the head office, and subsidiary office do not have option to adapt to local markets if needed. Example: Adidas AG is a German multinational corporation that designs and manufactures shoes, clothing, and accessories. It is the largest sportswear manufacturer in the Europe and the second largest in the world after Nike. Global company. Global companies have invested and are present in many countries. They market their products through the use of the same coordinated brand in all markets. The corporate office is responsible for global strategy. Emphasis on volume, cost management, and efficiency remain the key factors. These companies work to have a foothold in a large number of countries, usually larger than a multinational corporation. Various subsidiaries are set, but standard products are sold without any flexibility. In terms of adapting to local consumers, there is no change in branding or information about a global company, even if the country of operation changes. Example: IKEA. IKEA was founded in 1943 and has been the world's largest furniture retailer. Since 2008, with over 420 distinctive stores in more than 50 countries, it has a successful business model focused on offering stylish flat pack furniture at affordable prices. Transnational company. Transnational company are much more complex organizations. They have invested in foreign operations, have a centralized corporate facility, but give decisions making, R&D, and marketing powers to each foreign market. Transnational companies follow a flexible approach, understanding and adapting to the local culture and demand of each country. Offices in each country work in a decentralized manner with decision making powers. Subsidiary offices can launch and make products that might not be manufactured in the original home country if there is a chance of demand. Example: Unilever operates in more than 100 countries, selling its product in more than 190 countries. The company operates approximately 310 factories in over 70 countries. It operates a network of over 400 warehouses globally. The company's brands include Axe, Dove, Lux, Rexona, and Sunsilk. Unilever has become a transnational company in the most basic sense. It thinks globally as well as acts locally. Similarly, if you have other examples like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Vodafone, characteristics of a transnational company. This company thinks globally and acts locally. This company adopts a global strategy but allows value addition to the customer for a domestic country. The assets of a transnational company are distributed throughout the world, independent and specialized. The R&D facilities of a transnational company are spread in many countries. Scanning or information acquisition. These countries scan the environmental information regarding the economic, political, social, and cultural and technological environment. These companies collect and scan the information regardless of geographical and national boundaries. Vision and aspiration are global. Global markets, global customers, and grow ahead of other global transnational companies. Geographical scope. They analyze the global opportunities regarding the availability of resources, customers, markets, technology, research and development, etc. The scope is not limited to certain countries in analyzing opportunities, threats, and formulating strategies. Adaptation. Global and transnational companies adapt their products, marketing strategies, and other function strategies to the environmental factors of the market concerned. Mercedes-Benz is a super luxury car in North America, luxury in Germany, and standard tax in Europe. Global company is the one which has either produced in the home country or a single country and forces or focuses on marketing these products globally and focuses on marketing these products domestically.